Thank you for joining with us this morning. Today's verse is Philippians 4:6, and it says, "Don't worry about anything, but in everything through prayer and petition with thanksgiving, let your request be made known to God." So where is it? The book of Philippians is a letter written by Paul to the church of Philippi. It is Paul's warmest letter to a group of people he dearly loved who were a strong support system for him. And he wrote it while in prison in Rome. Can you imagine writing a letter encouraging others while you were in prison? I can't. But in the letter, Paul teaches about genuine Christianity. Here in the final chapter, he gives practical advice and encouragement for how people should live as Christ followers and how they can have peace in the world of rejection. So what does it mean? Paul is telling a flourishing church not to worry, and Paul understood worry. He was in prison, but he also knew that peace that can only be had through Jesus Christ. Paul knew that prayer was the only antidote for the worry that plagues humanity. And in this verse, Paul separates prayer, petition, and request and says they all need to be shaped by thanksgiving and given over to God. But one way of seeing the differences between these three requests are for circumstance, a request for action, and a request for resources. And in situations of anxiety, these are the three areas that Christians are called to trust God for. And Paul encourages the people to be thankful for where God has placed them, how He acted for them, and what He has given them. So why does it matter? Life can be easy and full of worry. Well, will I do good on my tests? Will I get married? Will I have kids? Will our kids know Jesus? Will I lose somebody I love? Will I be rejected? One of Satan's favorite traps that we so easily fall into is the idea that worrying about the future will help change the outcome. But ultimately, the only one that has the control of the future is God. And if you trust Romans 8:28 that says that all things that work together for good to those that love God, then you have no reason to worry, because no matter how it turns out, it's ultimately for your good. This does not mean that God expects us to never have any concerns, but when we do, we can give Him and give them to Him. And the difficult part, let Him have them. God knows what it is in your heart, and He wants to talk to you about it with Him. Pray through your struggles, your stresses, your fears, and let's leave you with a perfect peace that is only available through Him. Remember, you can't change the world, but you can change the world for somebody.